welcome to another episode of Design & Style. I am one of your co-hosts, Dixie with Dixie Willer Design, and with me, as always, is the lovely and effervescent
Rachel with Rachel Moriarty Interiors. And today, go ahead, Dixie, an intro.
We have a special guest. Rachel and I are
Very
both crashing hard. I should
We're
probably tell you
crashing
who it is, because in case you're listening to the podcast instead of watching, you have no clue. So with us today is Sandra Funk. She is the founder and principal designer of House of Funk, which is an award-winning full-service and online interior design firm. And she has offices in New York and New Jersey. House of Funk has over a decade in business, and they create thoughtful homes with an emphasis on clean lines and soulful touches, all rooted in tradition, which, by the way, I have read that sentence I don't know how many times now, thinking that is just perfect.
Yes.
I love it.
Oh, thank you so much. I am so honored to be here. I am personal devotees of both Dixie and Rachel. I think you guys are the bomb. And this collaboration is killer, like brilliant. Just, you guys have these two sides of the story that I think are amazing. The yin and the yang, it's beautiful to watch. And you're a blessing to the industry. It's so, so wonderful to see our industry like in conversation. It's beautiful.
Aww.
Well, thank you.
You know what's beautiful that I just thought about? We are all Ethan Allen alumni too.
I know.
So crazy.
It's so funny. It's like a little factory of brilliant.
They sure churn out brilliant designers out there.
They do.
I think they were not quite sure at one point what to do with me.
They for sure were not sure what to do with me.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
So fun though.
Oh, it's so fun. You know what else I heard too? I'm also a B school alum from Marie Forleo.
Oh, I'm not.
Oh, you're not? Okay,
No.
you know who was somebody else on your
Misha
show
Hetty.
was?
Yeah,
Yes.
I know Misha Hetty was.
Yes. Yeah, and I was hearing Marie Forleo's name get kind of tossed around too in the world there. It's a good mentor to have with the online space. Very cool.
Oh my gosh. I totally I was like, you know, like in the year, whatever time of year, March or whatever.
March, April.
Yeah, when you start seeing it everywhere, and it's like Danielle Laporte's talking about it, and you know, and I'm like, I get total FOMO every year. I'm like, I want to.
But you know what that she has built that I think is what is happening in our industry now is like she's built Danielle Laporte, Gabby Bernstein, like all her people that they all cross promote and they all support each other and they all raise each other up. And I think like you just said, there was Martin Chase from Inspired, there was Luann from a Well, like there's this, we have it. Just keep it rocking.
We're doing it right now. Hello.
It's actually happening right now. Right? Let's just create our own little. They can FOMO us.
Exactly. So, how did we talked about Ethan Allen. Was that how you got started in design? Was that your first?
That was my first foot in the door. I left. I was a finance major. I was in business consulting. I knew I wanted to own my own business one day. I just didn't know what it was going to be. More than anything, I wanted to travel. So I was doing. I was working for Accenture, traveling and doing business consulting, and I ended up getting into web design, and then I ended up taking design classes at Parsons because there wasn't like a web design course yet.
Right.
It was like so early on in the usability side of web, not the coding side of web, but the interface, the UI, and it was like time to take websites from reading a static page to drop down boxes and process flow, and that you submit on the bottom right corner and what colors promote these good feelings or moving forward, or does it, if the button's red, does that feel like a stop and not green like a go, and like all these kind of emotional triggers and visual triggers and flow discussions were going on in web design. This is like 99. And I started taking Parsons design classes at night, living in New York City, and just went down the rabbit hole with design. I was toast. Like I was toast. I was like, nope, design. I love design. I want to be all design all the time. So I got laid off in the dot-com crash, and I literally got my box from my desk, and I got into my little yellow cab, and I was like, oh God, I can do it. I was the happiest laid off person you've ever seen. Yep. I saw behind the curtain. I knew there was something so much more fun and so much more energetic and a different, like that part that I liked about consulting was a different project. You're always like, you had a different client. It never got boring. You weren't going to the same desk every day, what have you. That, I had that idea going on with Design plus so much more. So I went down the rabbit hole. I literally put on like my I work in New York City in consulting businesswoman suit. I wrote up a resume that was all taking any skill I had and trying to gear it towards design. I took my like 2 design courses that I think I'd finished one and was in the middle of my second at Parsons. And I just hit the streets of New York and knocked on every boutique. I knocked on every door. I went through the AD 100. They were like, who are you? No. I did all of it. And eventually, I don't think it was my first tier pick because, I was coming out of like being hired for one of the big 6 accounting firms and doing their consulting side. I was like going after the AD 100 and they were like, no, go get some experience. I went and acted with Ethan Allen and I walked in and was like, here's my story, here's what's happening. And so I worked at the flagship store in Manhattan for about 18 months. And then I was like, this girl's got to get off the Saturday shift because they are serious. Was Saturday, Sunday, right? Like there's no time off. So, so that was, I've got something popping up on my screen. So anyway, that was the whole idea of get out there, get some experience. And then it turned out the training was amazing, literally.
Did you go to Danbury for the training?
I did.
Me too. Oh my God.
Training
so
and
awesome.
It was great. And because I was at the New York flagship, the Farouk was there, like the whole team was there. They had all their big conference, they had their conference room there and a big meeting space and everything. So, and through that, I got somehow through the corporate ties of Ethan Allen, I did Joy Behar's apartment.
I saw that. I saw when you guys, I am so happy you released that video recently. That is just so cool.
Yeah, it was cool. We were like, okay, let's throw it back. I mean, if you've got that on your reel, you may as well throw it out there. So. It's fun.
That's so awesome.
Long time ago.
So that I didn't realize how similar our paths were. I actually came out of finance too. I was in private banking, servicing high net worth individuals and businesses. And it was so funny because I brought the pretty into banking. So I'd be like my loan docs. I'd be like, I don't know if you can find anything in there, but they are the prettiest loan docs you will ever see. I would get like all those beautifully colored tabs and, I'd be like, on this side is this. And I would follow a process, but they were like I was always so proud of my loans. So it's so funny how you can take something from finance and bring it into design, but it's funny how if you are creative and you love things that are beautiful, how it actually can translate into something such as finance,
Absolutely. Well, there is something I think of design as quite mathematical too. Like I know Dixie's like super on the architectural side of things. Like there's just a rhythm and a flow to it. I love doing CAD. I love doing the functional layout of a room is like where a ton of my excitement comes from, in addition to layers and layers and layers of all the finishes. But there is that side of it too that still feels mathematic to me. Love that.
Oh my gosh.
Thank
you guys, we're split on this one. I'm like, I don't even like to do a floor plan. I'll be like, I've got to do a floor plan. Like that is, I'd rather be just like layering samples and paint swatches and, I like that really like tactile part of it. If I have to sit at my computer, I'm like, nope, nope, not happening.
I, on the other hand, today was going, yes, I get to do a floor plan.
Oh, I know. I love that. I love that part.
It's the best.
Yeah, I'm always like, don't take that part away. I want to do the think tanking it all. Yeah, working it out. Makes me happy.
So
it's like a puzzle. It's like something that when you get try it a whole bunch of ways and then you solve it. And I just get so stinking happy with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What podcast am I on right now?
She's like, rope it in, people, rope it in.
I'm getting a headache just thinking about it. One time I was talking to Dixie and I was talking about the things that she does, like her construction docs and her plan reviews. And right in the middle of my sentence, I bored myself in the middle of my sentence talking about the thing. I was like, it's so funny. Like I will literally just go completely blank on that stuff. It's like I'm 4 walls in paint, and then from there to the clicking the photography. That's me, you know, but the rest I am just like, oh my gosh, I cannot even handle that.
Yeah. Well, see, it's funny though, but there's like I don't know, there's a part to which I get like, okay, this is tedious. I've been looking at this plan forever. It's got to stop. And that's just like, but then I'll do the same thing. If I'm looking for that one last fabric, I'm like, all right, I've combed our entire library. It's time to get on the phone with all the reps and be like, can you send coordinates? Can you send coordinates? Can you send we end up with like boxes of fabric, and I'm like, now we're talking. Now I start flying.
Christmas.
Yes. I love when the boxes of fabric arrive. Good stuff.
So Dix, we wanted to talk about some of the visibility that Miss Sandra Funk's doing, because she is, girl, I have to tell you, I have known you a long time online. That is one thing. You and I have known each other quite a long time online.
A long, long time.
I'm thinking 2014 as well is when we first met.
I think it might even 13, 14 for sure. Like at least, yeah.
I have seen your game. Like I was watching videos that you posted on the Design Network, and I was just like, I mean, I got a little jealous that they're so beautiful. Jealous in a good way, not jealous in a bad way. Just like, oh my gosh, I wish I had somebody to do all that for me. But no, so beautifully done. I really, really.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a
crazy good team.
I mean, I have noticed seriously everything that you have done, whether it be highlighting people in your community. When you did your whole rebrand, I was just like, you just turned into a whole different person. You just completely up leveled. And I just want to acknowledge that, because I want you, you know, I don't stalk you, but I just, you know, we have been like in the same. I noticed.
It's like a circle of stalking. It's all good. I'm right there with y'all.
So I just want to acknowledge that I really love what you're doing. I think your brand is in such, you know, good alignment with what you represent and the work you do. And you've definitely separated from the pack in my eyes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. The rebrand, I have to give so much credit to my team. I went out and really looked for an office manager who could also help me get my branding and my PR under control, and really proactively was trying to find someone who had that skill set. I work with Nicole from Curio Electro, who I put her name out there every single time I get a chance because I owe her so much. She literally just keeps coming back and going, I don't know, you're punchier than that, you're brighter than that, you're more funk than that. Like, you know, she just keeps pushing on me to say, does it feel true? Does it feel authentic? Does it feel like the final edit? She was absolutely instrumental. And then Rania and Sarah Harris are my dream team in-house. So
that's awesome.
Rania's the office manager who is also just like a PR whiz. She's 2 little kids, and I think that the reason that I have these overqualified, brilliant people in my office is because I'm willing to be flexible and have a schedule that works for the moms, because there is a force of overqualified, underutilized women looking for something to do between drop off and pick up, or get a sitter and work a full day, or whatever it is. They need to use their brains. They want to be useful. They want to be helpful. They want to be appreciated, and they're experts at what they were doing before they decided to become an expert at making, you know, the family life number one. And a lot of people trying to get a toe back in the water, if you can be that first step for them, I think there's an immense amount of value in that. And I think, and that's like, you know, my whole thing is women entrepreneurs, women who are working like this. It's a grind, and it is so we did the whole series Women Who Own It, and I think that's just all about giving props to these people that are killing it and knowing from the inside how hard that is. So it's a whole team effort. Thank you.
Awesome.
Did you do a series too where you spotlighted local people on your blog
community?
Yeah. So we have a series called Locals We Love, in addition to women who own it.
Mhm.
So women who own it tend to be a lot of our local entrepreneurial women, and not restricted to that. But then locals we love are the coffee shop where we get our coffee. And they actually named a drink after us called the Funktado. It's amazing in case you're in the area. Yep, good stuff. But like our local, restaurants, our local boutiques, the local people in town, the local film festival, the local art museum, I think the framer, our rug guy, everyone like that we try to use. We're in a town that's very vibrant, has a lot of artists, so there's a whole community there as well. And from the visibility standpoint, there is massive return on focusing on local, be it authentic, have it, the real sushi place you use, not just like blanket dusting out to local.
Yeah.
But then if it's real and they're like the kind of people that would name a drink after you because they actually know you and you go in there, that tagged properly, shared properly, authentically shared, that is how you get a corner on your own market. So if you Google interior design Montclair, interior design Northern New Jersey, interior design Essex County, we are showing up and we haven't paid a dime to Google. We are right at the top. And that's from being local, tagging local, writing our SEO keyworded blog posts, the visibility. And that's all coming from Nicole from Curio Electro, giving us that wisdom of saying, people want to hear where you like to shop. They want to hear where you get your coffee. They're interested because, you're someone who they go to for expertise on design and lifestyle. So it's relevant. So using that's great.
I mean, Dixie and I don't know if you know, but we coach other designers on their visibility as well. We offer one-on-one sessions. And our questionnaires actually talk about, I asked them, what alcohol do you drink? What do you drink, coffee or tea? I think that all of that, there's so many parts of us. It's not just, we make pretty rooms. That you make a pretty room, I make a pretty room, Dixie makes a pretty room. That's fine. But what is those other layers? What are the other layers? What makes us different and unique? And not different in a competitive way, but it's fun. Like Dixie and I, we were in Tennessee and we were drinking moonshine and we were doing something similar to you called moonshine in design.
Nice.
And so it was so fun because my husband.
So many iterations on that.
I know. We watch the Moonshiners show. My husband does, and so it's kind of like one of our little guilty pleasures. So when I was in the Smoky Mountains, I was like, we have to do moonshine in design. But it shows that we got a lot of attention and a lot of comments from that. And Dixie built her business from moving. She didn't know a single person.
Well,
not one person. Oh,
I knew my
what?
husband.
You cheated. Oh.
That's it.
And grew her business, and so we are so big on community, but like you said, authentically connecting with your community.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that idea, when you said that my brand redo was in alignment and just it took it up another level, that is exactly, I think, what all of a sudden it just didn't feel it like, I don't know, had I grown up, did I, what was I hitting that different stride or what have you? I don't know. But all of a sudden it wasn't crisp enough. It wasn't sharp enough. It wasn't bold enough. And so the rebrand became really important to me because it needed to be more me. And again, I think you level up when you true up to who you are.
The other thing is having that outside view, because I know when we work with designers, we have a membership lab, and we talk called the Visibility Lab, and Dixie does lives in there, and she'll be talking. And if it's somebody that I've had a consultation with, and I'm in my car listening, I will pull off the road and be like, "Get me on that live right now." And I'm like, "You have 30 years of experience," and some people don't understand; they can't see themselves.
Absolutely.
The value, they can't own the value. It takes somebody from the outside. And I'm always amazed that I can vision someone else almost like I can when I walk in a room. As I get to know them, I could actually vision them. And not that I'm not a branding expert, but I'm like, why aren't you sharing this, or why don't you share that, or in that
You
in
can
that
see
way.
the pluses and you can highlight them. That's
Exactly.
incredible.
And so it's so important, I think, that you're talking about, that you had Nicole to do that to you, to say, you know, yeah, you push it, even push it a little bit, if maybe you are a little, you have, this brightness about you, but maybe it could go a little brighter, or maybe you could step into this a little bit more, so
Absolutely.
I think
right. And I think, yeah, that's the whole thing, is that every day I wake up and I'm just me, right? And there's
right.
like a kid's filling cereal, and like a dog's got to go out, and like the clients are calling and people need things, and this is happening. And it's really hard to sit back and go, 10 years in business. Yep. We own it. It's time to raise it up a lot. Because you're just in your life. You are in it, right? So there are times when that being forced to step back or taking help from another perspective is so huge. So that's amazing that you guys do that, because I still, one of my things that I keep finding myself saying is that being an entrepreneur and being a designer, especially, because it takes daily courage, because it's not the day you start the business. It's not the day you decide to get an office space. It's not the day you decide to hire your first employee. It's every time you put yourself out there creatively in a presentation for a client, every time you're standing on their front porch, ringing the doorbell going, hey, hi, am I what you thought I'd be? Is it how you thought it would be? Like, it's daily. It is a putting yourself out there over and over and over again. And I think that again, you just get lost in the shuffle. Like, it's so good to step back and see that and own that, and not be just in the mix of it, because it's busy work. There is 1,001 million details of what we do. And I've been struggling recently trying to explain that to my clients, and I'm at the point where I'm like, never mind. I'm gonna do what I do, you do trying to educate the client on how much it takes. I don't know. That's a whole other situation. But anyway.
Well, I wanted to touch back real quick about all the things that you do in the community, because I know you mentioned to us that you were president of the Junior League at one point. And how has all of your community activities helped you to gain local clients?
Oh, huge. So I moved from let's see, we were in New York for about 5 years. Then we moved to Chicago for a year and a half. I jumped into a big firm in Chicago where they had like a big marketing department, and they just kind of had a ton of clients coming in and fed clients to me. But what happened there, so I wasn't having to struggle for my own leads, but what happened there is I was going on those interviews, closing those clients, and building word of mouth through that and working it out. So I came 18 months later. We decided that I'm from Michigan originally, but we decided Chicago wasn't for us. My husband's job brought us back to the East Coast. By that time, we'd been in Chicago, so we had gotten a dog and like so much more furniture than any Manhattan apartment could ever hold. So we started looking for a house in the suburbs, which is how we ended up in New Jersey. So we land in this little town in New Jersey with just the requirements were commutable to the city, and I wanted to be able to be walking still. I didn't want it to have to feel like how I grew up in Michigan, where every time you leave the house, you're getting in a car to go somewhere. I still wanted to be able to like walk to town and blah, blah, blah. So, so we moved to this town where I knew no one. And I went to work for another designer. I think I went to work for 2 designers for a little while. One, anyway, this is when I decided, I can do this better myself. It was one of those moments. But I'm like, if they're surviving, I can make this happen. But I came to New Jersey and had to build it bootstraps, right? And had to like figure out how to get a client. So literally, one of my first clients, I was laying in the dentist chair and they were sampling the like brightest neon teal, like bad bright though, color for the wall. And I was like, hold on, can you? I was like, I will help you for free. Like, just please don't paint this room this color right now. Like, A, why are you sampling pink colors while I'm in the chair? What's going on here? And B, please let me help you. Don't don't paint your walls that color. Like, I won't ever be able to come and sit here again. It'll make me manic. So it was being out in the community like that. But then I really quickly joined the Junior League and started volunteering and starting to get to know people. Fast forward 9 years later, I was the president. So the community went from being, I don't know anyone, to I never ever leave the house anymore where I don't know someone.
Right.
So, and then the Junior League, the whole point is it trains volunteers so that the people who are in it go on to be the heads of all the other local organizations in town. So I've always had a philanthropic heart. That's just, how my mother raised me. So that is a really nice tie-in for me. And it's a great way to, I've met so many people. And there are so many links back to that original Junior League base still in my client network. Yeah, so I think getting out there, it's really important. And it can be a mommy group, and it can be a tennis club. It can be anything, but it's getting out there and meeting the actual people.
You're speaking Dixie's love language.
Yeah, you're speaking my love language, plus the whole community. I mean, Rachel and I are both big on community and doing service projects and stuff like that. But getting out there, and I am the world's biggest introvert. Like, I could sit happily in this room and never leave ever again.
She says that, but she like, we stayed out like practically all night when we were in.
Remember but that's practice. It's one of those things where everybody says, no, I can't do it, but you can. It's possible. If I can do it, anybody can. And so, yeah, definitely. Going out doing local stuff.
Yeah, local stuff is so important. It's so funny too, because I'm very comfortable talking in front of a crowd. I danced growing up, so being on stage never made me uncomfortable because it was just part of, every year ended with a big show or whatever. I'm more comfortable being up on stage talking or being on camera talking than I am one-on-one. And that's because and I don't know if it's a weird version of an introvert because I'm like, oh, give me a speech to read on a podium. No problem. I can do that. Like, blah, 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 blah. But, cocktail party, don't know what your deal. Hey, who are you? Like,
I am the worst at small talk. I'm so awkward at small talk.
I just am not good at it. That's tough. Small talk is really, really tough for me. Now, at an industry event, tell me your story. How'd you get into design? That's an easy one.
But I will tell you, what you just said is exactly what you say at all those other things. So tell me about yourself. Right. Then you don't have to talk. Right.
Yeah, you just ask a good
That's
questions.
My secret. I don't talk.
That's good though, but that's a great listener, and that's wonderful for what you do too, right? Get them talking, get your clients talking.
So we want to touch on your online visibility, which is your new venture. How new is it, your Wine and Design series that you're...
Wine and Design, I think we've been doing it every Wednesday at 4:00. We go live on Facebook, and I think we've been doing it for a couple months, 2 months? Yeah, 2 months. So we're pretty new. Fun. We haven't run out of things to say or drink yet. So that's a good thing.
Good.
Well, we're super excited to be on there. I love the concept. Anything, everything rhymes with design, which is so nice.
Yes, it's very helpful.
So many alcohol drinks that rhyme with design.
Well, you guys can drink what you bring whatever you want to the table. My drink of choice is always wine. And this whole thing started, again, my internal team who was like, everything is video. Like, you're not going to be... Stuff we post isn't going to be seen unless we get video. It's the next wave. It's the thing. We need to be doing it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yep, sure, yep, yes.
Kick it down the road.
I'm like a yes, my 10-year-old, 100%. Just like, sure, yep, make that happen. And finally, they came to me and they were like, we figured it out. And I was like, okay. They were like, every Wednesday at 4:00, we're going to open a bottle of wine and roll camera. And you'll show up because we'll have wine. And I was like, you have a very good point.
I will show up. I'll show up early.
I'll be like, is it open yet?
Some Wednesdays you're like,
Do we have to wait until 4?
Right? Nah. Warming up is helpful.
I know. I'm excited because I get to start drinking at 1. I told my husband, I was like, get me some wine. I usually drink Cab, but I said, get me some Blush because I feel like it's more of a daytime wine. Not that I know what daytime wine is, but it just felt lighter. So I'm so excited to be on there and to chat with you. And we're going to do it Zoom, right? Because obviously we can't come to New Jersey.
Yeah, we're going to Zoom this thing. And yeah, I cannot wait to have you guys join me on We'll flip the switch. It'll be awesome.
It's going to be, is it going to be
location-ish?
Right. Is it going to be your first virtual wine party?
Yes. Yes.
So fun.
See? First virtual wine and design.
Yep.
I like it.
Dixie and I do virtual cocktail parties in our groups. We've always done them. Yes. They're so fun.
You know what? I never realized it, but I've been doing virtual drinking with my cousins and my sister for years because my entire family is still in Michigan. And we all just get on FaceTime. Because I'm always the one that's not in town, and so I get FaceTimed. And then we just hang out together. They're like, we're drinking and we miss you. Go get a bottle of wine. I'm like, okay, sounds good.
Okay. I'll grab 2 just in case this one runs out.
You never know. So I love all the coaching you guys are doing. Your site, everything is just amazing. And again, this industry, God, if that was out there when I first started, amazing.
We're having so much fun because we were just talking about it. It's different working for a design firm than it is starting your business from scratch. Starting, like you said, finding that one first client, that one first consultation. It's like once you get that momentum, it's so different when you're sitting there, whether you're sitting in a showroom and you have your ups walking in the door, or you're sitting in a firm and everything's fed to you. It's a totally different energy than setting up your business and going out, connecting your community, connecting online. It's so different. And so we've been really good at that. What happened is we actually coached each other. So I'd be like, Dixie would go somewhere. I'm like, did you get that photo? She'd be like, oh, I was moving furniture or whatever. I'm like, did you get a photo of you doing it? And she's all, so I push her on the online, and then she'd be like, did you go to that chamber mixer that you talked about? And I'm like, so we literally have coached each other through, and we both have a great balance now. And so that was sort of like the premise of why we started doing it. We are still working designers, obviously, but it's just another layer that we've added in because we've had great success, even in So we were talking about your wine and design series. Just from being visible online, I've had collaborations with Kirkland's. I've gotten styling jobs for furniture catalogs.
Oh, amazing.
I mean, just like stuff like I would have never anticipated.
Amazing.
And just from putting myself online every day, and it's just opened up different income streams, different opportunities, and you just never know. You just kind of have to step out in faith, I think.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. So that is definitely one of the things that I want in visibility. That's one of my visibility goals is we have a thriving referral-based full-service design in New Jersey and New York. So we have, a 6-person firm where we do renovations and we do interior design, and it's wonderful. And it can be exhausting. It can be an absolute grind when we have 3 things under construction or something switches up in a client's world and that project is no longer, and you're all tied to the whims of your clients. And when you're doing projects at that level, there aren't that many of them. And if there's always this balance too for me. Like if I get over 9 active clients, my brain doesn't function anymore. I can't manage that many relationships. If we get there's just a balance on that. So we launched online design when we launched the new rebrand. Really wanting, like in my heart of hearts, wanting more design, less relationship project management, less tied to the whims of the client and the kid got into school or some, there's a divorce, like less tied to everybody, because a residential client, it's not like you're doing
a couple of years
with a big company and it's set in stone and it's concrete. Like it's all on the whims of these homeowners. And I'm doing it for 11 years on my own and 17 years in the industry. So it's not like it doesn't work, but you have to have the deck really good and stacked for it to work. And as we kind of keep, again, it's really luxury, full service design. So it's just when a project wraps naturally or when it ends because of something going on in a client's world, it's very like, oh, we got to get another one. And it just feels very, I don't know if it's just, again, maybe it's my time to say reactionary. Thank you. That is exactly it. Like it all just hits me here. And even if it ends because it's supposed to, it still feels like the end of something. So online design for me, I want to stay in that zone of like solving the puzzle of the floor plan and doing all the selections and like handing off this beautifully wrapped, we love putting it all together and making it so beautiful, and putting the package together and using the beautiful words to describe like what the vision for your room is, and helping them walk through every execution of how to make a beautiful bed and how to hang the art and da-da-da. I love putting that all together and then going, off it goes. See you later. Okay. You paid us in full, we delivered in full, sayonara sister, who's next, you know, like that feels very design focused. And that, I think that was my thing, like we got like the big projects are amazing, but you can get so deep in the like contractors fighting with the person with the thing and and every once in a while I need a design break where it's just the good stuff. And so online design really is supposed to be my design break, and it's working really well for that. Like it just makes my heart happy. So that's online design for us. And then the visibility goals are really around, we have accidentally prototyped a few product lines just based on not being able to find something in the industry. And then the typical me, I'm like, I don't know, I'll put it over here until someone calls me and says, do you have any product lines you want to?
Yeah.
So there's a couple of those laying around in the office, like just tucked into corners and stuff. And literally we did like a portfolio book, and then it was like, well, let's do a takeaway from each photo. And then the next thing I know, we had a hardcover bound book, you know, like, what is this? So
what is this?
No, but it's literally, it's like in my office, it's behind me. And I'm like, well, what is it doing? Like, no one knows about it. No, so the visibility challenge of like, let's ramp this up. Let's do wine and design. Let's get out there. Let's get a platform. Let's get visibility. It's based on, I think there's a lot more I think there's a product line. I think there's a book. I think there's wine and design as a show, you know, our own little gig, the Facebook videos and things like that. So I think I would like to build the other streams of income. I'd like to just cherry pick 3 amazing interior design full service projects a year and have everything else rolling, be a part of the community, be at market. You know, there was years where I didn't go to market because I literally couldn't leave because I had too many projects going on. Like, I want the joy of it. I want to be inspired. I want a brain break so that I can bring back the best possible design too.
I actually have a book. Another thing that happened. I got asked, a publisher approached me and asked me to co-author a book on video marketing, and it's launching next month.
Good for you.
I mean, just like the other stuff, you know, you just never know. Like, that's what we keep telling our group, is just put yourself out there, and not like unintentional, like not just like, oh, you know, like I'm cute or whatever.
Just for
like,
the sake of visibility isn't a purpose.
Yeah, right. You know, have some strategy and think about it, and you know, definitely have your goals. Like you keep saying, your visibility goals. That's our love language right there. But we always, even when we went to market, we said we are not going to overschedule. We want to leave room for magic. We want to leave room for chance meetings. We want to be able to, like, not, you know, we meet this perfect person or whatever, some future partnership or collaboration, and we don't want to be like, well, we got to go. I've got 5 minutes to get to the IHFC building or whatever. You know what I mean? We definitely left space for magic.
I just totally got chills. That you guys left room for magic. That is so sweet. Love it.
That is really, you know, you use your strategy, but you also, you know, you leave. I mean, it's just nice. So I think that's a perfect place to end it. When you get the goosies, I think we're done.
Yeah, right?
There's nothing more to say at that point.
Where do you go after the goosies? I'm just saying.
I think that we can leave it on visibility goals and leaving room for magic. Like, yeah, got it.
Absolutely.
Got it. Done
Amazing.
deal.
Amazing. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. And anybody
Sandra.
who Oh, I'm sorry. Anybody who would like more information about Sandra can head over to designandstylepodcast.com. The latest episode will be posted there, and we'll have all of her, where you can find her, all over the interwebs.
That's right. And you can find us with her hanging out in the afternoon with a little wine and talking a little design.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, ladies. Have a good one.
Thanks, Sandra.
This podcast was made possible in part through the support of our preferred partners, like the Design Network. The Design Network offers one of the most powerful to-the-trade e-commerce programs in the furniture industry, combining the top brands in furniture, the best prices, and unparalleled logistics all in one place. Go to www.thedesignnetwork.com to join the Design Network's Trade Direct program, create your designer profile, connect with new clients, and start shopping today.